Welcome back, folks and viewers. The MACTFORDEDGE Facebook Live here on this 15th, is it, of October. And, of course, I missed last week, a little under the weather, yeah. So, did the best I could, but we did skip it. But we do have a lot of new members. I missed last week, so I'm not going to, holy cow, there's like 80, 90 new members. So I'll just pick up here for this week. And we have Kelvin, Bill, Olin, Patty, Kayla, Brandy, Crystal, Eric, Mark, Sonia, Alan, Holly, Nelson, Cecil, Ahmed, Randy, Damian, Dusty, Jacob, Skeets, Sean, Michael, Jeff, Cody, Janice, Dalton, and Sarah, Jason, Sean, Hussein, Saif, Eric, Gigi, Chris, Claire, Jay, and our last one under the wire was Brenda. So that is a fair number of new folks. It's like 37 of y'all, and there was at least about that many last week. So I guess you could say we're running close to 40 a week, and that comes out to what? I don't know, 100, what, 40, 80, 160, something like that a month. So the group is growing at a fast pace. And, of course, that is what we like to see. And, of course, you all participate pretty good. So we're going to start doing what we do best. And we're going to go over a little bit of what everybody's doing on the Facebook group. And you're all active, as always, in a lot of different things. And, yes, I do have the pumpkin spice edge on the banner. And that is, of course, Teddy's favorite ride. And she went ahead and did that. I love that color, and I have driven that Edge. She didn't know it, but I drove it. Anyway, yeah, it just makes me want it even more. I will say I'm going to start it right off. After the first of the year, I may be in a market for another Edge. Family things have happened. I got to have more vehicles, so it may be that I buy another Edge. Now, what do I buy? I don't know yet. Not going to break the family financial bank trying to get another Edge because I already got two, so don't want to have big payments. But we'll be looking for a third Edge, and it will be used. It won't be new. That's just how I roll. Don't like the big car crash when you drive it off the lot. Let's see, what do we got? We got Justin. He was doing a last-minute brake job, and he got a little bit of a gnarled-up fastener on his caliper pin there. He's got it all figured out, though, thankfully, and we got that help to him in real-time mode. Yes, Cam, Kevin, y'all want me to get a Sport. Now, I'm answering the question here on the Facebook, folks. Yes, a Sport might be in the future. That's all I can say. Wife likes the idea of twin turbo. I don't know if I want to give Mom Osha a twin turbo. But we'll see. We'll see where we go with it. But yes, there will be another Edge. Let's see. Ian, in his intellectual thinking, as always, is just trying to toss out a lot of different stuff on there, and he loves the diesel. And yes, I will say the diesel sounds good. I would get a diesel if they offered it. But, Ian, you know what? We'll never see a diesel Edge in the United States. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So we'll just leave that at that. What else do we got? Thiago, he's out there in the tropical breeze in Brazil having a great time and great photos. And I wish I was there. Go back to Panama and visit there and get a little bit of sand between my toes, right? So anyway, we're going to go ahead and see what we're going to do on that. But yeah, that's some nice weather because it is getting cold outside now. Storms blew through, temperatures dropped, it's windy. That's why I'm not outside, folks, because if I had my phone right here on, all you guys would be hearing is wind noise. You wouldn't hear me. That's why, it has to be a pretty calm day to do an outside video live because you just can't hear me. So it'd be a useless thing. I may end up just doing the fans as a separate video. Timing it, I'll do it real time. I'll record it as I go through it. I might do a live if everything works out, but it'll be during like a week or sometime that I do it. But I'll try to do it live just to show you how long it takes, which shouldn't be very long. Let's see. What else do we got here? We got folks out there doing scenic photos of their edges. Lots of good pictures out there. And then let's see. We got, holy cow, we got everybody who's showing their pictures of their Ford stables. Yes, lots of Fords out there in the photographs. If you see that on the Facebook group, that definitely will see there. We got John. He asked about turning the governor off on the forescan. And I will tell you, John, I have not, that's something I got to get time to work with. It is a computer program, and I need to sit down and have time. And unfortunately, with my job schedule already booked out towards January, I don't have much time to be learning a new program. So it's something I got to force myself to do, and then to start using more often. I'm really, really adept at the forescan light on my phone. I know that like my back of my hand, but and that's what I use daily to monitor my edge. But his main question was, can I turn the governor off? Now, I don't know that I'd want to, say that that's a good thing. I do know folks have driven their edges to like 111 mile an hour. Yeah. Let's just say that the handling characteristics at 111 mile an hour are not what you want. Not I wouldn't dare say going any faster than that would be anything good. So yeah, you do that at your own risk, I guess. But in the case of why is it limited? Well, you got to stop and think. When Ford puts tires on it, they're only putting tires on for like 115 mile per hour. So they're not going to give you a car that can exceed the limits of the tire, because guess what? You go over 115 mile an hour and boom, the tires go, and then you crash and you die. Ford ain't wanting any part of that. So we're going to say that you got to have the tires. Now, I will say that the tires on my Edge are rated at 148 or 49 mile per hour. So there is a opening there that gives you a little bit of safety space. But anyway, we got a lot going on, folks. Besides that, my computer is locking up on me, folks. This isn't good. It's getting glitchy on me here. I got a lot of windows open, so we're not having fun today. But anyway, what else do we do? Let's see. Oh, we have fasteners under a tray that was answered by John Martin. Provided the parts. John seems to be pretty astute on that. Of course, he is a mechanic, so it goes to reason. And he is a wealth of information. I thank you, John Martin, for your participation and helping people out. That is great. Let's see, what else do we got? Again, more diesel stuff. We got Jay. He just bought him a Lincoln MKX, so he's pretty happy standing there with his Edge. And then we got Emily. You having problems with that darn PTU again, and all sorts of things going on there. So get that thing in there and get it checked. It's no time like the present, right? So Emily, keep us advised of what the situation is there. It should not be doing that, and I fully understand your frustration. It's nothing worse than having a car that doesn't drive right, and can definitely get out. So you want to make sure that you, of course, get that all taken care of and pay attention to what's going on. And as far as that smell, yes, you should not be smelling that while you're driving. That is usually an indication of your PTU failure, and the oil burning off and emitting the fumes that you smell. So there's another telltale sign that the PTU is not long for this earth. Now, what else we got about here is, I can't even read that, Patrick. What do you write? Oh, he's asking about the 2018 Edge. Yes, there is a 2018 Edge. They will have them on the lots, and I'll get to that. There's something y'all want to know before you pull the trigger. Okay, there's something you want to know, and I'm not going to say don't buy 2018, but there's something you might be interested. But anyway, we got a lot going on here. Let's see, Bart, unfortunately, his touchpad broke. And Bart, as I discussed with you, boy, you're going to have to order it, have it painted, or whatever the case may be with this bad boy. Because there are so few Lincoln MKXs made, and then you got a red NKX on top of it, and then you got a certain model year. The chances of you finding one in a scrapyard of the same color is about that. Yes. You're just going to have to order it, have it painted, and then just pop that bad boy back in there. That's about all you can do. I wouldn't glue it in. Gluing's like a permanent thing. That means you never want to get back in again. And then glues will fall out and eventually have problems too. So I would just replace it with a new piece. Sometimes you just got to spend the money, shop around, get it on eBay, have the body shop paint it, whatever you got to do. Find it to the color that you need. And I'm not saying that you couldn't find a comparable black one and just go with black. That might be an option. So you can do that too. Depends how you want it to look. Let's see. Now we got all sorts of things about tires. That was a long thread, and I'm going to be discussing that here shortly. I'm just going over some of this stuff that we've been covering here. Let's see. Blower motor. We had Chris. He went and changed out his blower motor, and lo and behold, I was telling him, well, TYC blower motors have been, I guess, an acceptable repair. Go ahead and put a TYC in to replace the blower motor that had failed. Well, guess what? He then shows me a picture where it's a TYC blower motor that had replaced the OEM motorcraft before that went out, and now he's got a blown TYC motor, and I guess that sort of throws the TYC down into the trash, don't it? So I just say go back with the OEM. You probably have a better choice there. To get the motorcraft. I don't think they're that much more, to tell you the truth. So just go ahead with the OEM and see your luck on that. There apparently was an issue with the first one, and now you got an issue with the TYC. Bad luck of the draw, I don't know, but replace that blower motor. I made a video on it. Literally take you minutes. It's not a hard job to get into and replace it. Three bolts, a couple of connectors, boom, the glove box out, you're done. You got moving air again, and then of course your HVAC system will work. Going to scheduling and events. I will be starting next Sunday. I will be in Omaha, Nebraska. So our MACT Live will be via the Omaha. So I'll try to get there in time, leave in the morning, and I'll get there and get set up. I'll do my 4 o'clock live from, I guess, the hotel that I'm staying at. And we'll go and, of course, cover everything from that location. So I'll be over there until, I think, Thursday afternoon, which time I will depart. So if you live in Omaha, I will be in Omaha, and if you want to get a hold of me, just message me, and we can get together. But I will be there Sunday for my live. If you live in that area and want to be on the video with me, then you're more than happy to have you, and you can come join in. Let's see, we got a lot of other things going on. People taking pictures of their edges. Lots of photos, folks. Lots of work being done. Adaptive cruise control. Had a question on the adaptive cruise control to slow you down, whether a slow car someone cuts in front of you, and do your brake lights go on? Now, I am never in a position where I'm behind my edge and the adaptive cruise control is being used. It's usually me using it. Now, the question is, when it starts slowing down, do the brake lights come on? I don't know the answer to that, folks. And my wife never uses the adaptive cruise control for me to follow behind her to find out. But I will tell you that I have tested the system out. Now, here's the thing about the adaptive cruise control. Excellent system for passive drivers. But I did find out, and of course it white-knuckled it, if you have a vehicle stopped in front of you, yeah, this is the hard part. You hang on to the steering wheel, keep your foot near the brake, but once the Edge Adaptive Cruise sees the object in front, it will start slowing down. Now, it is not engine braking, folks, because I tell you what, if the vehicle stopped, the brakes are engaging. Because I went from 70 down to 5, okay? And the Edge stopped. Plenty of time, too. But keep in mind that when the Edge gets down to, I think it's near 5 miles per hour, it's under 10. When it gets down to below 10, be ready to put your foot on the brake, because the Edge, the way the 2011 adaptive cruise control and braking system works, it will slow you down to below 10, nearly 5, and then it clicks off. You have to finish the stopping. You have to apply the brakes to finish the stop. So just so you know, I've tried it, and that's how it works, and I've experienced it. So don't think it's going to stop you completely, but hey, if it stops you down to 5 miles an hour, that last little hit ain't going to be much. But keep your foot on the brake, okay? But again, paying attention will save you a lot of effort there too. So, but I do know, I've tried it, I've tested it, and that is how it works, at least on my wife's Edge, and it worked out pretty good. Let's see, what else we got here? Tire pressure sensors and everything else, those were covered by Stephen Ashton, and he did an excellent video on how to retrain your tires and relearn where they're at. So watch that video, and then you can learn a lot of how to retrain your TPMS system should you ever need it. I don't know, I've never needed it. I just hop in my Edge and boom, the light goes out and the tires go around and then everything's happy. But I guess there is a way to 2011 to train those too if you want to, and I may do a future video on that just to show you how to do it. But so far the system has been working for me. I've never had to reset anything. Let's see. We had a couple questions about people going up to doors and opening cars that didn't belong to them. And it's a lot of interesting stories, so I recommend you read those stories about how people were going up to the wrong car and trying to get in, or people were in them and opening the door. People see a color or see something that looks like their Edge, and they just go to the door and open it. If they got a light color car or something like that, it don't even have to be an Edge. But were some pretty hilarious stories there. So if you get a chance, go ahead and, of course, check them out. Let me read here what some other questions are. Okay, yes. If you got it in cruise control and you're going downhill, yes, it will be engine braking. It will not be your brakes. Okay, so clarify this. In cruise, going downhill, it is engine braking. But when it comes to stopping, it is your brake system activating. It is not engine braking. There's no way the engine can slow you down that fast. And I don't feel any shifting. I feel brakes. So it does work that way. Let's see. Oh, before I get going here into everything else, I do have these right here. Yes, as you can see, I have the pigtails for my coils, because I broke this little piece right here, folks, the little red piece. I broke that off, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tear this all out right here. I'm going to tear all that out. I'm going to disassemble this and pull it apart, because you can pop this little white piece out, and I'm just going to replace the wires that are currently on there with those green ones that it come with. And I'll do a video on how to do that, because I'm sure a lot of you have probably tried to pull those off. It broke those little red clips. So it wasn't that much for these. I forget what the price was, but I'm sure I'll tell you in the video what it was. but I'm just going to replace the thing and keep the same wires. I'm not going to clip wires and start crimping them together. That's hogwash there. So I'm not going to do that. But that is one of my future videos, along with that fan video that I'm going to do. And I do tell y'all, I have the other video that I did that I kept telling you about weeks ago that I did when I did the resonator delete. And as with all things on that, what I did was I wanted to drive it. I wanted to make sure that I don't have any issues from doing it before I tell you to do it. So I've been driving my Edge, gosh, a couple thousand miles now, and I have not had any problems. So I'm getting really close to making that a video. And now that I've confirmed no long-term effects from doing it, just to be safe, don't want to tell you to do something that's going to wreck your car. So I verified it. I have not had one lick of problems with it, and I do love it. So I will put the video out along with some verification what I did and that it is running good. So you know, then you guys can decide whether or not you want to take a hacksaw and a welder to your Edge. I'm sure you like that, because this one's going to involve cutting and fabricating and welding. Yes, you're going to love this. So this will be a pretty unique video just all by itself. But let's see, what else do we got here? Advanced track warning. We've been getting a lot of advanced track warnings coming on and other things like that. So it seems really strange. Batteries are starting to die. Cold weather's coming up and all this other stuff. So this advanced track, they're talking about recalibrations of the ABS system, whatever it may be. We're still trying to learn what's going on. It's sort of propped up like a little rash here lately, and we're going to still evaluate and see what's going on before we can put out a final thing on that. But it does seem to like there's just a little rash of this going on, and we do want to make sure we covered all that. But that here, folks, I think we've covered a lot on different things. Engine noises, a lot of folks posting videos of engine noise clatters and everything else, and you know, got things that got to be fixed. Something else that I did post, and this leads up to some other things for the future of the Ford Edge, but you know, how long is this 3.5 Duratec going to be around, folks? Well, I can say it's going to be around for at least a few more years. Yes, from what I'm seeing, a few more years. But then I think eventually the Duratec, the 3.5, is going to go away. Now, what I'm thinking is they'll end up going to the 3.3 that they're throwing into the F-150. I have a feeling a version of that 3.3 direct injection is going to end up in the Ford Edge eventually. Okay, so it's a process. It's going to happen, but it's not going to happen right now. I see the future of the 3.5 for at least until, I want to say, 2021. I think we got about another 2 to 3 years of the 3.5, but I'm almost willing to bet by 2021 the 3.5 will no longer be an option for the Edge. So we'll go with that. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. TSB time, yes! Let's jump into the TSB. The TSB for today is on the 6F50, 6F55, and that is TSB 10-21-2. And what does this TSB do? It's called a slip neutral out of fifth gear start from stop electronic prindle, PRNDL. Y'all know what that is, right? Air backup camera in D built. Yes, and what it does is it covers the 2009 through 2011 Taurus, Edge, and Flex, along with the MKX. Yes, and basically there was another TSB that it is superseded by, but basically what happens is that vehicles built between 2013, 2009, and 6/30/2010 were equipped with a 6F50 or 6F55 transmission may intermittently exhibit slipping in neutral out of fifth gear from a start-stop. Electronic prindle error will be displayed backup camera on the driver, speed control dropping out intermittently, and it may be due to high resistance in the transmission range sensor. Yes, it is a transmission range sensor failure. Now, what it comes down to is they got a service procedure to go that you got to follow, and the TSB does cover that. But here's the big thing. What they're finding is high resistance. So they have all the pins that you got to check, and you got to look for your ohms meter, and you got to check for that resistance and everything. And basically, if you check those pins, and it's, I guess, pins 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 on your range sensor, you're going to check those. If any one of them are above 5 ohms, you got to replace the transmission range sensor. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. You got to jump in there, pull out your transmission valve body and everything, get all that taken care of. And guess what? The Prindle. Yes, you got to pull the roll pin out of there, and guess what? Guess what the Prindle sits around? Yes, and they're very cautious about telling you if you do pull that roll pin out of there, that if you let that Prindle pop out of socket, you are in a world of hurt. So this is a job where you got to be careful, and you got to take it apart. You can do it apparently without having any due effects, but you gotta be careful. If you're not careful, boom. Now they say if you let it slip out, you gotta disassemble the whole thing to get back in there, to get it all set back into position. So, this might not be a job for the faint of heart, but it is possible to fix apparently, and all it is a TR sensor you gotta replace. So that is your TSB news for the day as far as that goes. And let's see, what else do we have here? Oh yeah, I got something else for you all here too. And did I talk about, what was it? Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about tires, weren't we? Tires galore. And some of you are going to hate me, and just keep in mind, I am not a tire expert. I am going by information that I know about, have read about, and researched. And I try to give you the straight dope on it, but, as with all things, sometimes, might not be entirely right. So, but the biggest thing that we're running across, and I'm going to pull out some stuff that I have here. Let me zoom it in here so I can actually see it and read it. Now, the question was, here's the deal. Tires. I see, there was one point where the Ford Edge 2011s, they threw them 22's on there. Yeah, buddy. 22's. Okay, here's the thing. If you go through Ford now, in the second gen, you will not find one offering of a 22. Not one. The highest they offer is an option is a 21. The standard is a 20. The 19 is the standard for a lot of the other models. The titanium, okay, 19-inch. I think it has an option for a 20. SELs, I think they're 18, 19-inch also. So the tires, the thing, Ford has learned. You notice they don't make chrome covers anymore? Yeah, no chrome covers. Learn that lesson. They don't make them anymore. Think about it. 22's, they don't put them on the Edge anymore. Think about it. Think about it. Okay? Now, those of you who want to go to 22's, say you have a 2000, first gen Edge. Okay? And this is where I see the problems generally. We start going to 1.5 in the second gen. I don't see this problem. But here's the problem. One, notoriously, the first gen has wheel bearing issues. Already, before you even put 22's on it, it is already prone to wheel bearing issues. Plain and simple. So now you take your 17-inch tire, yes, 17-inch tire, and you want to toss on a 22. Okay, now here's the deal. You're going from I think it was, I had one of the members measure a 17-inch tire, 55 pounds. That's right, a 17-inch tire, one tire, weighs approximately 55 pounds. I'm probably rounding numbers here a bit, but I'm pretty close. He then had 22's on his Edge. Those 22's weighed in excess of 76 pounds per tire. Okay, so we're looking at 21, minimum, 21 pounds difference from a 17 to a 22. And this is on a first gen Edge. Okay? And it looks cool. I understand that. I'm not talking about how it looks. You can do whatever you want, Hollywood, all that good stuff. I'm just telling you the physical issues that you're going to deal with. You're taking an Edge first gen with wheel bearing issues already. And then you're going to put 22's on it and add to that stress. How did you add to the stress? One, you got a little bit wider diameter, wider tire. Okay? Not a lot. I think it's what? A 17 to a 22 is a little over an inch difference in that. And that's not a big thing, but you know what? Sometimes it's the little things that count. Okay? So 1 inch might not seem like much, but what if you're that wheel bearing? You're like, oh God, more leverage, right? Yeah, more leverage because you got a taller tire by 1 inch. So you got more leverage. Okay? Wheel bearing says, oh boy, that's the last thing I need. Then, on top of it, you add a 76-pound wheel. So you've increased it by 21 pounds. Yes. Now your unsprung weight, yes, the weight that is under the springs is called unsprung. Now you've taken 55 pounds of force going up and down and made it 76 pounds. Onto the wheel bearing hub, onto the shock, onto the LCA, onto the sway bar, and the wheel bearing. You see where we're going with this? You've now added that 21 pounds to every wheel. So we've went and taken our tires from 55 pounds, which is what? 220 pounds of wheel weight. And we went up to 76, 140, 284 pounds of wheel weight now onto our Edge. We went up quite a bit, right? So you've added that wheel weight to it. Now, does it take more horsepower to turn a 76-pound wheel than it does a 55-pound wheel? Does it take more energy in gasoline to turn a 17-inch wheel vice a 22-inch wheel that weighs 21 pounds more? Okay? If you follow me, that means you're going to be putting more gas in your car, right? Makes sense. You're going to put more gas in it. Well, will it affect your odometer? Well, it can, depending, what you're doing. You can go through Forescan and make adjustments to it. Yeah, okay, my odometer's right. But it will be off. For example, at 60 mile an hour, it's only going to be, 57.4, okay, for your actual speed when you do this tire switch, okay? So you got a larger diameter of revolutions. So what is it? 716 revs per mile for the 17-inch tire vice the 685 revs per mile. So you can understand the tire's moving slower, so therefore that's going to affect your odometer if you put 22's on. Pretty simple concept. But, you add all this up there, and then I mentioned the other day, just here on the group, I says, okay, you take 2017 Ford Edge Sports, identical, okay, identical, and you put a smaller tire on it. Say you put the 18 on it, okay, and then you put 22's on the other one. Which one will win the race every time? Now, the one with the 22's has a larger diameter to worry about. It also has more weight to turn. So we can imagine off the line, yes, the one with the 18 is going to win. If they're all-wheel drive, they both got a nearly equal traction at that point. Granted, the wider tires on the 22's might give it a little bit more grip, but it's not going to make up for the momentum that is required. Remember, inertia requires power. You got to keep that thing moving. You got to get it moving in the first place. So if you have more weight, it takes more effort and more power to do it. So why don't you see drag cars with 24-inch tires on them? What are they? 13, 15-inch wheels? Think about it. The circumference, yes, does change. Of course, they have the horsepower to make up for it. But overall, they stay that way. So what I'm saying is, if you make the decision, and if you go to the 1.5 gen or the 2nd gen, if you go up to 22-inch wheels because you buy them aftermarket, and yes, okay, folks, I understand you can buy aftermarket wheels that are 22 inches that are light. Yes. The lighter they are, the more you pay. Okay? Now, on top of that, anybody ever priced a 22-inch tire? Now, we also missed one other thing. With a 17 or 18-inch tire, you're going to have roughly 5 to 6 inches of rubber between the wheel. Yes, you're going to have that rubber between the wheel. Will that make for a smoother ride, absorbing the road imperfections? Yes, it also helped the suspension because the tire helped absorb some of that. So it makes it easier on the suspension too. Okay? Now, how about the 22's? Now you only have 4 inches of space between the rim and the rubber. Yes, you're not having much. Does the tire absorb as much? No. Potholes, which one's going to handle imperfections in the road better than the other? And I will say, more times than not, people complain about bent rims on the 22's, and they don't complain about bent rims on the 17s, 18s, and 19s. Okay? There's a reason for that. Less space, less rubber, less tire, boom, rim gets bent, pothole killers everywhere, right? So now you end up buying a new rim, and you spend, if you're buying a Ford rim, what, $1,200 for one? Holy cow! Yes. So when you go out and buy these big wheels, think about the cost to your suspension, to your gas mileage, to everything. If that's not a problem, I'm for you. I think it looks cool. I don't have a problem with it because I'm not paying for it. It makes sense? Yeah. So you guys can do that, and it's not a problem. I think it looks good, but it's not economical. That's all I can say. For my job, the way I drive, it's just not economical. I'll stick with the 18s and the 19s. Far better and a better thing. But the tires, like I said, this can be a bone of contention for everything. I understand. Throw your comments down here. But I'm just trying to explain the maintenance costs associated with this. Now, if you take and look at all the tires for the 2000 or the 2nd gen Edge, 2015 on up, a lot of your tires, the highest one, like I said, is a 20. You got the option of 21. Otherwise, Ford has knocked down the size because they realize it adds more stress to the wheels. And two, it's about a horsepower ratio thing that goes with that. So you're going to have all sorts of other issues that combine with that. Now, I do have another document that goes with that. When you are going to 22's, okay, or the sports have extra stuff in them, steering gear is different. And the steering gear for those larger wheels is at your rack and pinion, folks. Okay, so if you got one, if you got a Edge that was 1st gen or 1.5 or even a 2, and you decide to put bigger wheels on it, it's not a sport. Your steering gear rack is different. Your steering gear is not made for the bigger wheels. So there's a wear point. Okay, so that is where you're going to have a problem that's going to be popping itself up. Steering gear can't handle the bigger tires, folks. Keep in mind, they are taller, more stress, more strain, tie rods, steering gear, everything is going to be a problem. Rear shocks, shock absorbers, all this other stuff that goes into your front shocks and rear shocks are also going to be different parts, different springs. And your sway bar is going to be heavier duty and thicker for the sport version. All this goes into your suspension and plays a part in what you can wear out, not to mention the wheel bearings. Okay, so you add more stress to it. On top of that, the actual gear ratio for the Sport is a 3.39, whereas your regular gear ratio for your other models of Ford are going to be a 3.16. Okay, so you do have a different gear ratio for the tires. Yes. So when you think I'm going to put bigger tires on, look at your gear ratio you got. 3.16. Yeah, you're at a disadvantage already. So if you're thinking you're going to make your Edge faster, wrong answer. Yes, you're going to lose on race day every day. Okay? That's just how it's going to be. Your gear ratio is not set up for the larger wheels. The suspension ain't set up. You're going slower, folks. It might look cool, but performance tanks. It tanks. That's all it does. I don't want to be a big, negative Nancy on this, but it's the facts. It's just the facts, folks. That's how it is set up. So if you want more horsepower, stick with the OEM size tires. You're going to have a better jackrabbit start on that, and you're going to have a better ride and less chance of your suspension going hooky. But you can go the bigger wheels, but you do it at a cost. Everything, performance costs. And in this case, these are not performance upgrades. A lot of times they say tires make a car perform better, but wheels that are larger do not. Now, I will say, will the large 22's make better cornering? Yeah, because the contact patch is bigger. Depending on what tires you got, of course that thing's going to turn. But then again, you're putting all that stress on your wheel bearings, so how many turns are you going to make? Yes, so again, everything comes at that cost. You got to find that cost. Right now, if I was to take and make my Edge faster, I would not throw 22's on it. Okay? I would work on the engine, tune it, and do other things. Exhaust, whatever you got to do. But I would not put larger wheels on it if speed and acceleration was your goal. Okay? Wouldn't do that. But that is my input on that. So now, what are we going to talk about? Well, I got one more thing that I wanted to talk about to y'all about, and I'm going to pull it up here. Ta-da! Ford Edge Lincoln MKX news. Yes, what do we have for the news? And this is it, folks. 2019, drum roll. Yes, 2019. Ford Edge is going to have a facelift. Yes. The front nose, headlights especially, and the rear tail lights will undergo a change. Yes, they will modify them slightly, make the headlights better from what I'm understanding, and of course the interior will get a refresh upgrade. That's right, the same thing they did from the 2010 to the 2011, they are going to do to the second gen, so we will have on our hands a 2.5 refresh. Yes, and get this, if you're going to buy a 2018, those of you who want the 2018, you might want to hold off. I'm not going to say if you need a car, get a car. But I'm just going to tell you, if you buy the 2018, you're not going to get the refresh. That means your 18 is already looking old. That's what Ford deals with when they announce changes. So they have to be careful. But the 2019 Edge, get this, 9-speed transmission. Now are you going to wait? Now are you going to go? Keep in mind, this 9-speed transmission is based off of the 6F50, 6F50 transmission. Yes, they are just modifying it. They're changing it, making a little bit sturdier shifts, and this will also make the actual drive more exciting. You will have 9 gears, which will make acceleration better. Okay? It'll change the power band ratio of the engine and everything else going with that. So if you're thinking you want an 18 and you want a 9-speed transmission, you will have to wait until 2019 to get the 9-speed transmission. That's the big change for the 2019. Okay? Outside headlights, taillights, inside redesign, and then a new transmission. Same engines though, folks. yes, the same engines are going to be used. The 3.5 still hanging in there, and keep in mind that currently the only way you can get a 3.5 engine is if you buy an all-wheel drive Edge. There's no option for a 3.5 front-wheel drive anymore. It has to be an all-wheel drive. That's the only option they're offering it that I saw in their sales literature. And everything else, the only way you're going to get the all-wheel drive 3.5 is it. The 2.0s are not offered with all-wheel drive. Okay, so it's either here or there, but that's pretty much what I'm seeing the options as far as that goes. And that's why I'm saying the 3.5 is on the phase out, because it's only available in all-wheel drive in the second gen Edge, and that's it. That's the only place it's offered. 2 places. Okay, so we're going to see something going on there. The Titanium and the SEL all-wheel drive. Otherwise, you're stuck with the 2.0 EcoBoost, and then the Sport is the 2.7. 3 engine offerings and a limited offering for the 3.5. So that is the news, folks, for the upcoming versions for the Ford Edge in 2019. So decide what you want. Do you want a 19 with a 9-speed, or do you want a 2018 with a 6-speed and a transmission that has been around for what now, 10, 11 years? So you decide what you want to do. That's pretty much it on that point. But they do have that coming up. And I will also say that, hey, the Lincoln MKX may be on the way out. I'm not going to say for sure, but here's the deal. I don't know if you guys spend any time looking at the UK version of everything that's going on, but they have the Vignale, or if I pronounced it right, the Vignale, Vignale version. Okay, that is the high end of the high end of the Edge in Europe. That is like the creme de la creme. Everything is saying that they are either going to bring the Vignale or a vast majority of the features of the Vignale to the United States in 2021. If they do that, that takes the MKX out of the picture, which means will Lincoln survive this next Ford round of cuts? Will Lincoln even survive as a brand? Okay, so if they bring the Edge up to the same as a Lincoln, I'm not so sure that the Lincoln's going to be around. It's just facts, folks. Look at the Mercury brand. Boom, it's out the door. Pontiac, out the door. All these other, they're cutting, they're consolidating, and they're going with the sales. And quite frankly, Lincoln doesn't really sell a lot. They sell, but they don't sell a lot. So that's really what the dollars and cents are really coming up to. So that is pretty much where you're at on that, and that is the news. Now, the next thing I have, and I'm creating this, and I want to advertise it up. I have set up the Microsoft OneDrive on the Facebook group. Okay? You people in YouTube, if you want to join in on this, you got to get on the Facebook group to do this. But I do have the OneDrive link set up. You can upload a 2 to 3 minute version with your phone sideways up into my drive. And I am going to have the spotlight video. And I'm going to have the first one today. I'm going to add it to the Facebook Live video that I post on YouTube. I can't show it right here now, so if you want to see the spotlight video, you'll have to take and jump in here right after I get done with this introduction to it, and of course see it on YouTube. But I do have one member that has sent a spotlight video in, so I will of course go ahead and show that spotlight video and see if we can't get more of you, the folks on MACTFORDEDGE on Facebook, to submit your videos on your Edge, just like this gentleman did. So without further ado, let's go to the spotlight video.
Greetings, MACTFORDEDGE users from Canada. Just to get those questions out of the way, yes, I have a pet polar bear. He was bad, so that's why he's not with me right now. Yes, it snows all year long. Just it snows anytime, be prepared. And apparently it's supposed to snow tomorrow, so I'm going from this to putting on the snow tires tonight. So this is my 2010 Edge Sport, you know him as Bandit. what I have done to him is replaced the 22 rubber with Michelin's, way better than the Pirellis. Added a factory trailer hitch, because you know that these do not come from the factory with a hitch. Installed the Class 2. The reason being, I wanted to cut the bumper so it wasn't hanging below for my boat. Also installed the wiring, put it in here so the weather wouldn't get at it and destroy the wires. But here's the boat. A 1968 Starcraft. Yes, she's going to get redone in the spring. It's my project. But powered by a Honda, not a Ford. She gets a little grumpy in the mornings, but you kick her and she gets going, and she never let me down. 45. There you go, an extra 45 horsepower added by just towing. Beautiful day to go boating. But the also major thing I've done, sport exhaust, I love that. The major thing I've done is added a backup camera to the tailgate. It's up in the air right now just because you're just pulling out of the launch here. What I'll do is I'll show you what it looks like, because you all know. Hold on, let me turn this beeping off. We all know that the factory does not include a backup camera for any of the first gen, but I was able to include one. So put in reverse, turn the, and there we go. You can see partially the boat, but it's all in the sky there. It looks totally factory, can't even tell. This is my Edge, and hope you've liked it.
Okay, now of course that will be playing, and it did, and it was a great video. I enjoyed it, and I watched it, and I hope all of you watched the video after you saw it. You submit your own videos to this MACTFORDEDGE Facebook group live, so we can have more members' videos on the YouTube channel showing their pride and joys, right? So this is MACTFORDEDGE, and this is all I have for today. So whatever you do, join up on MACTFORDEDGE on Facebook. That is where you're going to get a hold of me if you're watching this video on YouTube. But subscribe and like YouTube, because that's where all the videos end up being stored and played. So join up, MACTFORDEDGE Facebook, and of course YT. Make sure you subscribe, like, and all that good happy stuff. And then of course my feet hit the ground today, and by golly, I'm having a great day, and I want you to have a great day too. And with that being said, Mercy Girl is going to toss a couple of one-liners at you. We got great music from the Band of One that's going to also be playing. And last but not least, maybe some bonus footage of some other weird stuff that I happen to do. But right now, I'm going to do the uncomfortable thing of pushing the finish button on this phone.
Thank you for watching MacT's videos, and remember to like and subscribe. This is a Mercy Girl production.